Hi, this is Andrew Averill, the Associate Editor with Wood Floor Business. I'm here on a pretty grim, gray day to talk about an equally gray subject, break-ins. Specifically, break-ins to your wood floor business's vehicle. What can you do to protect your equipment, which is your livelihood, it's your business, it's your career? Today, we have Officer Emily Sampson from the Madison Police Department. Officer Sampson is the Crime Prevention and Crime Stoppers Coordinator, and she's going to take us through this van and point out ways that we can secure it against criminals.
I'm Officer Emily Sampson with the Madison Police Department's Crime Prevention and Madison Area Crime Stoppers Office. Theft from contractors or construction workers can be a little bit unique because sometimes workers don't realize that their property has been taken until sometimes significantly after the property has disappeared. You might not use the tool every day and you might not notice that it's gone missing. So typically what happens after someone has discovered a theft and they've contacted the police, an officer will respond and try to get as much information from you as possible in order to help you reclaim and regain your property. So some of the most important things that you can do are things that you should be doing well before a theft could even possibly happen. The key words to think about are inventory. So it's important to think about inventorying your equipment. When I talk about inventorying your equipment, there's a few different things that I want you to think about doing. You should have a good idea of everything that you have in your van at all times. I realize that can probably be a lot of work, but it's important to keep a really good working list of what comes into and goes out of your van. Another important thing to think about for inventory is making sure that you're always recording the make and model number of a piece of equipment that you have purchased. In addition to make and model number, you should always be recording serial numbers attached to every piece of equipment. The reason why serial numbers are so important is because police officers have the capability of tracking equipment if it ultimately is pawned at a pawn shop. I would also suggest taking pictures of everything that you own, taking pictures of what it looks like close up, and then also taking a picture of the shelving in your van so that you know exactly what you have, and if something does disappear, you'll be able to more carefully pinpoint what it is. Something that I've seen a lot of pros do is actually mark equipment using paint. I would encourage you to consider engraving your equipment as opposed to painting it. Paint will scratch off and fade. If you're able to engrave your equipment with a unique marking, it would be easier for us to identify it in the future. Sometimes thieves will scratch serial numbers off of equipment. This is where your special marking comes into play. If you ever do see equipment that has a serial number scratched off, the likelihood that it was stolen is probably relatively good. If you do notice a unique marking on a piece of equipment that comes in that has its serial number scratched off, feel free to contact your local law enforcement agency. Another preventative technique is to black out the windows of your van. A thief is more likely to break into a van if they can see something inside that they want to get their hands on. If you black out the windows, a thief is going to be less likely to be able to see what you have inside of your vehicle. Another idea would be to place a metal grate or maybe metal bars inside of the window. A thief might consider using a rock to smash a window in order to get inside. Windows that have grates or bars over them are a lot less likely to be broken out. I understand that there's a lot of conversation about whether or not pros should have their logo on the side of their van. More importantly than whether or not you should have a logo on the side of your van, you should think about things that you can do to keep your vehicle safe. I don't think that the absence of a logo is necessarily going to keep a thief away from your vehicle if your vehicle is one that they find that they want to break into. Something that I tell everyone, not just business owners, but homeowners as well, is lock it or lose it. The more locks, the better. I know that there's some talk about whether or not you should install locks to your vehicle post-factory. Go for it. Like I said, the more locks, the better. If a thief sees a vehicle that has a lot of locks, they're not going to think that it's a vehicle that's going to be easy for them to gain access to. Burglary and theft are crimes that can happen in under a minute. A lot of times I'll see contractors' vehicles parked in driveways or parked on streets in front of residences. Sometimes the vehicle's doors are wide open and it would be easy for someone passing by to hop in, grab something, and hop out without you even knowing it. I know that it might be kind of a pain to have to close your vehicle and lock it every time you come in and out. But I would suggest that if you're going to leave your vehicle unattended for even more than 1 minute, you should consider closing all of the doors and locking them. Never keep receipts, proofs of purchase, serial numbers, or paperwork associated with equipment in the case with your equipment. Keep all of these things separate. If someone were to break into your vehicle and steal a case, you would want to make sure that you had these important pieces of paperwork retained for reporting purposes. I know that you probably carry your tool cases and toolboxes in and out of your vehicle a number of times. Something to consider is individual locks on every toolbox and tool case. Another thing to consider is fastening cases to the interior of your vehicle. You could bolt a case to the floor or to the shelving in your vehicle. You might consider fastening a cable lock or a chain lock to shelving to secure cases in your vehicle. Locks that are keyed are better than combination locks. Combination locks are easier to defeat. One thing to consider is mounting some type of camera to the interior of your van. A trail cam might be an option. It's a camera that maybe you could turn on and off when you're using the van and when you're coming in and out. But when you leave the van overnight, or if you leave it for an extended period of time, like over a weekend, you could turn the trail cam on. A lot of new technology allows you to see if there's activity on your trail camera over your cell phone. Other types of cameras that might be an option are the same kinds of cameras that residents use to protect their homes. They're relatively inexpensive. You can buy camera systems for around $200. Those camera systems are similar to trail cameras in that you'd have access to footage from your smartphone. If you're a pro that utilizes a trailer, consider all of the things that you might need to do in order to keep your trailer safe. A lot of the things that we talked about inside of the van would be applicable for inside of your trailer. Make sure that you are securing your trailer. Remember, lock it or lose it, and the more locks, the better. If you happen to leave your trailer at a job site overnight or for a longer period of time, think about things that you can do in order to prevent your entire trailer from being stolen. Park your trailer in a way that would make it difficult for someone to attach it to their vehicle. Consider putting a cable through the trailer hitch or even removing one of the trailer wheels. If you do have to leave your trailer or your vehicle at a site overnight, make sure you're trying to park it somewhere that's well lit. Park it in an area where people will pass by and see and report if something suspicious is happening around it. A barrier is a useful crime deterrent. If the only windows to your vehicle are the driver and passenger side windows and obviously the front window, a thief might only be able to get into your van or might only consider breaking into your van via the passenger compartment. If you have a good barrier that looks really difficult to get through, a thief is probably more likely to pass your vehicle up. I would urge you to make sure that things like garage door openers and keys are never left in plain sight. The importance of garage door openers has to do with, especially if the name of your business is on the side of your van. If someone sees the name of your business and might be able to come up with an address for your business, they might consider breaking into your vehicle and taking your garage door opener with the thought of committing a burglary at your home or at the place of your business. Other things that you should never leave in plain sight in the cab portion of your vehicle are obviously valuables such as electronics or any sort of identification. If a thief sees an ID or a wallet in the front of your vehicle, they might break in with the sole intent of stealing your wallet in order to have access to credit cards or cash, or stealing your ID in order to commit identity theft. Vehicle alarms can be a useful crime deterrent. If your van is alarmed, or even if it isn't, consider posting a sign that your vehicle has an alarm. Also consider posting a sign that your vehicle is under video surveillance. Sometimes signage alone can deter thieves.
So, as we just heard from Officer Sampson, theft is something that you can prevent. If you have any more tips, things that you do for your wood floor business vehicle, leave them in the comment section below or email us at editors@woodfloorbusiness.com. And be sure to check out the online article for even more tips and stories about how to keep your wood floor business vehicle protected. Stay secure, readers.